Hello, welcome everyone. It's your boy OT19 or Ultimate Gamer 19,000, and today I am here to introduce you to Season 2, Episode 4 of Random Multiclass Thursdays, The Demon's Head. Before this video begins, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and yeah, let's get right into it. But before, I just want to give a quick prayer to everyone in Florida. I hope you're okay. I hope your families are okay. I know Florida is getting hit by near infinite amount of hurricanes, so if you do live in Florida, I hope and pray for your safety. But yeah, let's get into today's build. So to begin, today's build will be mainly using daggers and hand crossbows, but occasionally you will be taking out a scimitar and get to whacking. Now the reason why we're doing this is because I've seen so many people talk about Nick and Vex and how it's revolutionizing D&D, rogues, monks, and I do partly agree. Nick and Vex is revolutionizing how we play D&D, but for mainly melee builds. I haven't seen much people talk about how Nick and Vex can be used with ranged builds. So I wanted to make a ranged build that used Nick and Vex to show you all that yes, you can still be using Nyx and Vex to grand proportions, but not be right up and close with someone when, let's be honest here, rogues probably aren't gonna have the best constitution, and I would much rather take alert than tough on my rogue. But yeah, for our level 1 origin feats, we'll be taking the Criminal. Now, Criminal allows us to increase our Dexterity, Constitution, or Intelligence, which we will be increasing our Dexterity and Constitution. It allows us to pick up the Alert feat, which is pretty damn nice. We also can get Sleight of Hand and Stealth proficiencies, which as a rogue, is pretty nice not having to pick both of those. Now, for our species, we'll be taking Human. Now, the reason why we're taking Human is because we gain an additional origin feat. Ignore the 35 feet of movement. Originally, this build was going to be not a hill giant, what's it called? A Goliath. The reason why I was originally going to be a Goliath is because I thought they don't really need an extra origin feat. But I think with this build, I want to show you that the rogues can be very good skill monkeys, but also deal respectable damage. So I personally think picking up Human and taking skilled, I know that sounds crazy, but trust me, I think picking up Human, taking skilled is going to be your best option as a modern day rogue. I mean, it's just gaining reliable talent at 7th level is just so massive, and having like 10 proficiency, having 10 skill checks you can never roll lower than a 10 on is massive in D&D. So I really believe that we just gained so much value out of skilled. On every other build, I would have said never take skill. But on a rogue build, unless you're doing some like intelligence based, true strike shenanigans, which I did see Tree and Monk made a true strike build, which it's pretty interesting. It had really good damage. But yeah, aside from doing that, I think overall picking Human, taking skilled on most rogues is just your best option. Now, for our stats, we have an 8 strength, a 15 dexterity, plus 2, total 17, a 13 constitution, plus 1, a 12 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 12 charisma. Now, the reason why we have this stat spread is we're a range build. So we're just mostly gonna be in the back. So I think just having a 14 con is nice. It's all reliable. Most builds take a 14 con and be fine if you're in range combat. Honestly, having a +1 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. First of all, those are the most important saving throws, so having them all flattened out is pretty cool. And also, this build is very much a skill monkey. We're gonna be using every type of skill in the game. Dexterity based ones, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. So I don't want any of those skills to be negative. I always want them to be positive. So that's why I honestly just took a +1 to everything. The reason why I chose to have 13 in wisdom is because first, I think wisdom is the best stat in the game, aside from dexterity. But if you want to, you can easily make that 13 to charisma or intelligence. I think later on in this build, I'm taking something that's going to increase my wisdom. So, if you're intelligence, if you want this build to be more intelligence based, then maybe, make the intelligence 13, and when I bump up my wisdom, bump up the intelligence instead. Now, as a level 1 rogue, we get quite a lot, so we may be here for a while, so buckle in. Now, for a rogue, we gain proficiencies in dexterity and intelligence saving throws, which dexterity is one of the most important. Intelligence, not so much, but when you're going up against mind flayers and resist their mind blast attack, you're really gonna like that proficiency. For skill proficiencies, I took acrobatics, deception, investigation, perception. For our rogue skill proficiencies, the reason why we took him here is because honestly, those are just really good skills. I mean, acrobatics, you're going to be using a lot. Deception, you're going to be using it a lot as an assassin rogue. Spoilers. I mean, if you knew the reference from the type, from the name of this building, you already know this is an assassin. Investigation and perception, I mean, you can't go wrong. You're just going to be super watchful, probably the party's watch. And now for our expertises, because we do also gain expertises at level 1, I took sleight of hand and investigation. The reason why I took investigation instead of perception is because we will be taking perception later on. But I feel like not much people are going to be focusing on investigation. I think intelligence most. I mean, look at my builds. Almost all of them are dumping intelligence. So I think it's going to be good if you have one person in the party that has a good investigation. So I kind of chose, I think in the beginning, you're more likely to have someone or like have a monk or have a cleric that has a good perception. So I think just picking up investigation, making that really good is honestly just gonna be your best. Sleight of hand, because I mean you're a rogue. The reason why we didn't take expertise in stealth is because of the new rules. Now, if you roll a DC 15 stealth check, you gain the invisibility condition. So, like rolling a 30 stealth doesn't really matter in most cases. I mean, we're still going to be proficient in stealth, so our stealth's still going to be extraordinarily high at higher levels. But yeah, I especially for reliable talent at 7th level, I didn't really see me like having a high stealth in 2024 doesn't matter that much as a rogue, which I know for many people that's like what that. But yeah, that is the reality. Now, as a rogue, we also gain proficiency in thieves' tools, any simple or martial weapon have the finesse or light property, and light armor. Now, as a level 1 rogue, aside from all of that, we also gain sneak attack. Basically, when we attack with enemy with a finesse or ranged weapon, and we have advantage on the attack roll, or one of our allies is within 5 feet of the target, we can deal an extra amount of damage equal according to like our level in class. At level 1, it's 1d6. Now, at level 1, we also gain weapon masteries, and we'll be taking Nick and Vex. Now, I feel like most people already know what they do, but just in case you don't, Nick basically allows you to make the extra attack of the light property a part of your action, not a bonus action, and Vex makes it that your next attack you do has advantage. Overall, pretty damn good. Now, at level 1, we get even more stuff. We get Thieves' Cant, we gain an additional language, which is pretty cool, and we learn the Thieves' Cant language. Now, as the origin feat, because we are human, we're taking Skilled. Honestly, for Skilled, I think just, let's go back to the skill proficiency list. I think here you probably take up Insight, Persuasion, and honestly, then pick your favorite for the last one. Make it Arcana. You know, not many parties, some parties may not have an Arcana guy, especially if they don't have a wizard. So if your party doesn't have a wizard, make an Arcana, or maybe make it like Nature or Survival. Honestly, kind of pick your favorite for that last one. But overall, just pick whatever you think is going to be most useful. And then finding the Alert. Alert allows us to add our initiative. It allows us to add our proficiency bonus to initiative rolls, which for an assassin is pretty damn massive. Trust me on that. And also, we can swap our initiative with a consenting creature. Yeah. So if one of our allies rolls like a 24 on initiative and we roll like a 23, or if one of our allies rolled a 25 and one of our enemies rolled a 24, but we rolled a 23, we could switch with that ally so then we can go before them to get an assassinate and all of that fun stuff. So overall, Alert is just a really cool feature, especially when most of our features require us going first in combat. So yeah, you want to get Alert. Now, at level 2, we gain Cunning Action. This allows us to take the Dash, Disengage, or Hide action as the bonus action. We're going to be using this a lot, especially the Hide one. Just being able to hide, gain your advantage, and hide again is going to be pretty damn nice. Now, at 3rd level, part 1, because we get a lot at 3rd level, we get Steady Aim. Using our bonus action, we give ourselves advantage on our next attack roll we currently make, but you cannot use this feature if you have moved, and after you use it, your movement speed is reduced to 0. So yeah, just make sure you're using Steady Aim Steady Aim in a place where you're like, okay, yeah, I'm fine, I'm comfortable with using Steady Aim here, because you will not be able to move around. Now, our level 3 subclass is Assassin. Now, as an assassin, we get our 3rd level feature, Assassinate. Your initiative, you have advantage on initiative rolls, which is combined with Alert plus our high dexterity. We're gonna have a pretty good initiative. We also get Surprising Strikes. During the first round of each combat, you have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that hasn't taken a turn. If your sneak attack hits any target during that round, the target takes extra damage of the weapon's type equal to your rogue level. Now, this may seem really small at first, and yeah, to me it did too. But when you get to those higher levels, you're adding a plus 10, a plus 17, a plus 20 to damage. So I know surprising strikes may not seem a lot, but it's consistent. And also, one of the really big problems, at least I had, with the original Assassin Rogue is that if you weren't getting a surprise round, which you weren't 95% of the times playing D&D, you didn't have a subclass. You straight up just didn't have a subclass. So I really like now that no matter what, no matter how your DM schedules your fights, you will always have a subclass. And I just think that is more valuable than anything. I think just always having a subclass, no matter what fight, no matter what scenario you're in, is the best design of a subclass, and you will always have one as an assassin rogue. So you also gain proficiency in Disguise Kit and Poisoner's Kit, and you gain one. So you just magically gain one, which is pretty damn sick if you ask me. Now, level 4, you gain Poisoner. Now, the reason why we're taking Poisoner here is because it's just really good. Now, I do understand that some people might have some apprehensions to it. They might think, "Oh no, it's so expensive." Let me explain it. Basically, with poison, you can increase your dexterity or intelligence by 1, or increase your dexterity here, so bump out up to +1. When you make a damage roll that deals poison damage, it ignores resistances, that's pretty damn sick. And also, we get brew poison. You gain proficiency with the Poisoner's Kit. With 1 hour of work using such a kit and wasting 50 gold of materials, you create a number of poison doses equal to your proficiency bonus. As a bonus action, you can apply a poison dose to a weapon or piece of ammunition. Once applied, the poison retains its potency for 1 minute or until you deal damage with the poison, whatever is shorter. When a creature takes damage from the poisoned item, the creature must succeed on a con save DC 8 plus the ability of the plus the modifier of the ability you chose with this feat and your proficiency bonus, or take 2d8 poison damage and be poisoned. Yeah, that's really good, and I think there are some nuances with the Poisoner's Feat that not a lot of people are realizing, which, if you take the Poisoner's Feat, first of all, if you have an ally that has Crafter, holy hell, is just this is going to become significantly cheaper. It's only going to cost 40 gold to make the doses. Also, you're creating a decent amount of doses. You don't have to be dosing your weapons every single round, round after round. Like, you're not supposed to be doing that. This is very much you're gonna have a big round. You know you're about to enter a big combat. You poison your weapons, open up the door, boom, get into combat. That's what the Poisoner's Fee is for. And also, your assassin, it's nothing but thematic, if you ask me. Also, one thing I haven't seen people talk about this is, if you have Poisoner, there is nothing saying that you can't give this to your friends. So, as Poisoner, you can literally tell your friends, okay, if anyone wants to add poison to their weapon using a bonus action, which many fighters, paladins, barbarians, rangers, monks, I mean, rangers definitely won't be using their bonus action now. Well, they have Hunter's Mark. But Hunter's Mark sucks. They shouldn't be using Hunter's Mark. Get that crap out of here. uh, but yeah, either way, it's like any class that's not actively using their bonus action round after round could very easily use Poisoner. And honestly, at really high level campaigns, 50 gold for extra damage, most characters would be doing that round after round. And also, you could straight up just nearly paralyze an enemy. Because having disadvantage on every attack roll they make until the end of the Poisoner's next turn is pretty damn massive. So I can definitely imagine in a world where you ask the guy that has Crafter to buy you all of the poison supplies you need, make everyone that wants their own poison have to pay you so that you can make it. Boom. Like one day where you have a lot of like downtime, or even like 3 short rests, depending on how much doses of poison you have to make. Just make a bunch of them. Because here's the thing, it's once applied. The poison retains its potency for 1 minute. So in theory, you could make a poison 1 year later, it still works. Because it only runs out when it's applied. So there's no reason why, like, maybe a magic shop didn't have any good items for your rogue. Or maybe you already found something adventuring, so you're like, I'm gonna spend the 1,000 gold I just got and make hundreds of doses of poison, and your DM can't do anything because they just don't run out. So I definitely do think Poisoner, if used correctly, can be a very powerful feat for the whole party. So I know I did ramble a little bit, but a lot of people have been hating on Poisoner, and I think they're just really wrong, and they haven't realized why it's such a good feat yet. Now, level 5, we get Cunning Strikes. Yeah, normally, in most scenarios, I will always tell rogues, you will, as soon as you reach level 5, always use the Poison Cunning Strike, no matter what. Trust me, losing out on a d6 of damage is so. It's not even equivalent to the chance of poisoning your target. I have seen D&D campaigns where a creature gets poisoned or has disadvantage on attack rolls against someone and then doesn't hit them the whole encounter and just steamrolls straight through an encounter. Cunning Strike is basically like the Monk's Stunning Strike, but way less resource intensive, but can still be decently paralyzing. Cunning Strike is just very good, and I think every single round, what it does, basically you can give up 1d6 of sneak attack damage to add a new little feature. If it requires a saving throw, the DC equals 8 plus your dexterity modifier and proficiency bonus. The first one is you can try to poison a target. They have to make a con save. If they fail, they are poisoned for 1 minute. At the end of each of its turns, however, they can roll to see if they succeed, and if they do succeed, it's gone. You can trip a target. They have to make a dex save or be prone, or you can immediately move up to half your speed without provoking opportunity attacks with withdrawal. On most scenarios, in most combats, taking poison round after round will just be better because trust me, a d6 isn't going to kill Vecna. A d6 isn't going to kill Tiamat. A d6 isn't going to do nothing against a boss that has thousands of HP. But you know what will? Them not being able to hit any of your allies. That will do significant amount. But I mean, again, if you're like facing like Vecna the Archlift or something like that, and he's just like casting Meteor Swarm, maybe don't poison. But either ways, if they're not casting Meteor Swarms every other round, taking poison, Poison Cunning Strike is just your best option. Or you can just, have infinite doses of Poisoner and just have like 50 daggers that before a fight you just like all like douse them in poison. So you never have to use a bonus action and just in the middle of a fight, you just keep on taking out poison daggers. You could also do that, or you could just use the Cunning Strike for free. Overall, it's just really good and also works very well with some higher level features, which I'll go into later. But as the level 5 rogue, we also get Uncanny Dodge, which allows us to, as a reaction, half the attack's damage. If someone hits us with an attack, we can half the amount of damage we will be taking. It's just good because, it's damage reduction, and who doesn't love some good old damage reduction? I know I do. Now, for our level 5 damage report. Things seem to have messed up a little bit. Don't worry, that's fine. I can still read it out to you. So turn 1 damage, assuming no poisoner, we'll be doing 29 points of damage on turn 1. Turn 2 damage, no poisoner, we'll be dealing 24 points of damage. But now if we turn on poisoner, we'll be doing 34.5 points of damage, with poisoner 29.5 on the second round, 34 on the first. Now I'm assuming you're only using poisoner once around. Because yes, it is technically possible for you're able to use poisoner because you are making 2 attacks here. You're making, how it works is you're throwing your dagger once, then shooting for your hand crossbow, reloading it, pull out the dagger, and just keep on doing that, repeat. I'm assuming there is technically a chance where you would be able to poison both of your weapons. But for the sake of not being annoying and just making this significantly easier, I'm assuming that you're only using poisoner once per round. That is my assumption. So if you feel like you're going to be using poisoner more often or less often, just make sure that is the assumption I took. Because with many of these build videos, you have to make assumptions. And yeah, that's the one I chose to make. So if you disagree with it, leave that down below. But if you're using Cunning Strikes option, you'll be doing 26 damage on turn 1 with no poisoner, 21 on turn 2. So, a 5-point drop off. And then with poisoner, 31 on turn 1 using Cunning Strike. And then no poisoner, And on turn 2, using a cunning strike, you do 26 points of damage on average. Oh, there's so much math. And then finally, your average to hit is 17.5 with almost near permanent damage. Because I assume you're going to be doing this is you start your turn, you start combat, you throw a dagger, shoot some with your hand crossbow. Boom, you have advantage on both attacks because you're an assassin feature. Then use your bonus action, hide. On turn 2, get up, attack, hide. Turn 3, and that's how I assume you're going to be doing it. Eventually in there you might be using poisoner, you might be doing something else because maybe they have like X-ray vision and hiding doesn't work. So maybe it's like just bonus action poisoner or whatever. That's what I'm assuming. So I think it's also with the Vex weapon property, it's safe to assume you're gonna be having advantage every single round from one way or another. You just have so many sources of advantage. It's pretty damn insane. Now, at level 6, we will be taking expertise. Now, we'll be taking expertise in perception and deception. Deception, I mean, you're an assassin. You're going to be lying to people to get out of, like, sticky situations. And perception, again, you're an assassin or just a party scout. You're going to be looking out for enemies, looking out for traps, and overall just being useful. So, yeah, I think honestly, that's why I believe you're going to take expertise in those two skills. Now, we gain evasion. Now, as a 7th level rogue, okay, I messed that up a little. As a 7th level rogue, we gain evasion and reliable talent, two of the best rogue features. With evasion, this basically says that if we were to make a dexterity saving throw, if we fail, we take half damage. If we succeed, we take no damage. Yeah, it's just really good. Evasion, one of my favorite features. Monks get it, and they use it perfectly, and so do rogues. They also get reliable talent. When we make an ability check that uses one of our skill or two proficiencies, we treat a d20 roll of 9 or lower as a 10. Oh, this is one of my favorite features in the game. If we have an expertise on an item, on a thing, we're most likely going to be rolling just straight 20. So yeah, reliable talent, very good. One of my favorite features in the game. Next, we get an ability score improvement. I have no idea why the +2 dexterity is so small. Oh, that's funny. So here, instead of taking a feat, now we could, now I'm gonna address this here. You could take an additional melee combat feat at level 8, then additional one at level 10 to max out your what's it called, your dexterity. You could do that. Meh. I mean, I don't really care. Like, if you want to do that, I personally believe with reliable talent, it's just better to increase your ability score so then it's higher. Your stealth checks are going to be higher. This just benefits everything. So I much rather just max it out now. And also, there aren't many feats we even want to be taking here. You could say like, oh, what about defensive duelist? If we're hidden, they're not even going to be able to see us. So that's kind of null and void. Yeah, overall, I just really like the plus 2 dexterity. I just think it's your best option here. Now, as a 9th level character, we are going to be taking one level of fighter. Now, the reason why we're doing this is because of two main reasons. First of all, thrown weapon fighting is pretty damn solid. Now, you might be asking, why are we not taking dual wielding? I'll get to that later. Just calm down. Please. I'll get to that later. Yeah, with the fighting style, we gain a fighting style feat. We're taking throw weapon fighting here. When you hit with a range attack or using a weapon that has a thrown property, you gain a +2 bonus to the damage rolls. I mean, it just makes our dagger hit harder. Overall, pretty good. We also get second wind, which has a bonus action. We can heal ourselves for a D10 plus our fighter level. I think we gain 2 uses of this feature, and we gain 1 back when we finish a short rest, and then all of them back when we finish a long rest. Yeah. Now, as a 10th level character, we get our 9th level in Rogue. Here we get Infiltration Expertise. This feature is kind of useless. Okay, it's just this. If you're using steady aim often, then this feature, oh, godsend, best feature in the whole game. But if you're not using steady aim very often, like us, meh, it's all right. I mean, I guess if your DM has allowed you to like have some weird fusion, or maybe if you took like no, because not even the mobile feat only imposes like disadvantage. Yeah, mobile feat sucks. I'm gonna get into a video about how like I need to make a video on like some changes I didn't like in the 24 players handbook. I need to make a expect that video soon. I'm gonna make that video one day. But infiltration expertise, you get roving aim. Your speed is reduced by 0 when using steady aim. Eh. You can unnearly mimic another person's speech, handwriting, or both if you spend at least an hour with them. Fun party trick. I mean, you don't have a mirror, you don't have what's it called? The change face, not change face. Disguise self. You don't have disguise self, so I don't know where you're gonna be doing with this, but you could cook. You could. I don't know. Now we have our 10th level damage report. If you are not using Poisoner and no Cunning Strike is applied, you're going to be doing an average of 39.5 damage. Turn 2, that turns into 30 damage. If you're using a Cunning Strike, however, with no Poisoner, you're doing 36 points of damage. Turn 2, Cunning Strike, no Poisoner, 27. Now, if you're not using Cunning Strike and you're using Poisoner, you deal 48.5 points of damage on turn 1 or 39.5 on turn 2. If you're using a Cunning Strike and using Poisoner on turn 1, you deal 45 points of damage. But if you're not, oh, oh god, there's so much wording here. If you're using a Cunning Strike with Poisoner on turn 2, you do 36 points of damage. And also, your average to hit is 19.5 with near permanent advantage. So yeah, still pretty good. I mean, there is definitely a notice with when you're not doing your level 1, your turn 1 points of damage, but overall, I mean, hey, look, 27 damage on average using a Cunning Strike isn't the worst. I mean, 27 round after round. I mean, the sheer fact that you're just able to nearly poison an enemy and just make them useless the whole fight is just really big and really nice for your whole team. So I do notice damage is low, but the amount of utility the rogue has really makes it shine. Now, as an 11th level character, 10th level rogue, we'll be taking Crossbow Expert. The reason why we're taking Crossbow Expert here, it increases our dexterity by 1, which is useless, but whatever. I don't really care. We can ignore the loading property of the hand crossbow, which we don't care about because we're throwing our dagger, which gives us a free hand and we're able to reload and shoot, so that doesn't matter. We'd also get firing in melee, being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage. Ooh, that's pretty good. And also, when you make the extra attack of the light property, you can add the ability modifier to damage of the extra attack if that attack is with a crossbow that has the light property. Yeah, that's the reason I didn't take two weapon fighting and took thrown weapon fighting because we're already gonna get it. So yeah. Now, as a 11th level rogue, we can improve Cunning Strike. We can now use 2 of our Cunning Strike options on 1 sneak attack. Cool. Poisoner is OP. That's all I gotta say. At 12th level, we get Fate Touch. So now here, I personally will be increasing my Wisdom, but if you're a Charisma or Intelligence-based rogue, increase the other ones. We can pick 1 spell from the Divination or Enchantment School of Magic and have Misty Step always prepared. We can cast them both free once per long rest. Of course, we're going to be taking Hex here. Hex is just a very powerful spell and adds pretty damn nice damage. So, Fate Touch, we're picking up Hex. Now, at level 13, we get Envenom Weapon. As a 13th level rogue, 14th level character, we get Envenom Weapon. When you use the poison option of your Cunning Strike, the target also takes 2d6 poison damage whenever it fails its saving throw. This damage ignores resistance to poison damage. That doesn't matter because we already ignore it. Yeah, this just literally just makes the poison Cunning Strike option better. It's just like instead of losing damage, you actually gain damage, which I love it so much. Now, as a 14th level rogue, 15th level character, we get Devious Strikes. These are just very good. With days, they must succeed on a con save or can only move, take an action, or a bonus action. That can be really good turn 1 control. So, I mean, turn 1, you might want to use daze instead of poison. That's up to you. We also get Knockout, which for 66, which is a hefty price, the target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or has the unconscious condition for 1 minute or until any damage. Unconscious targets repeats the save at the end of each of its turns, but if you hit a creature when it's unconscious, you automatically crit. So yeah, as a rogue, that's pretty big. Also, you get Obscure. The target must succeed on a Dexterity saving throw or be blinded until the end of its next turn. Pretty good. I'm not gonna be now. Here's 15th level damage report. I'm not gonna be changing my numbers for the different Cunning Strikes options. No, I'm not doing that. I'm assuming you're just always using the Poison Cunning Strike because it just gives you additional damage. I'm also assuming they always fill their saving throw. Uh, in my channel, I like to see the limits. I like to see the fairy tale situation. So just do know this damage might be a little bit lower, not by much, a little bit lower, a d6 lower. If they succeed on their cunning strike, that's all you gotta know. On turn 1, you average 60 points of damage, no poisoner. Turn 2, 46 points of damage, no poisoner. But with poisoner, you average 69 points of damage. With poisoner on turn 2, you average 55. So yeah. Hey, turn 1 with poisoner. Also, if you can get hex up, you're gonna be doing a lot of damage. This is also assuming hex. So on turn 1, you probably this is taking quite a few assumptions here that you're able to poison your weapons before combat, and when you get in combat, hex them, then attack. It's some assumptions, but assumptions I'm more than willing to make. So yeah, overall, you're just doing some pretty damn solid damage. Also, your average to hit is 20.5, assuming near permanent advantage because of the trillions of ways you have getting advantage as a rogue. Now, as a 16th level character, 15th level rogue, you get Slippery Mind. Your Cunning Mind is extremely difficult to control. You gain proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma saving throw. I'll take it. Some of the best saving throws in the game. For a 16th level rogue, we gain a feat or ASI. Pick your favorite. Legit, there are no feats in this build that can really increase our damage to a noticeable degree. Take a +2 to Wisdom. Take a +2 to Intelligence. Take a +2 whatever you want. I don't know. Take Mage Slayer if you want. Take whatever. Take whatever feat makes you feel happy. Take Chef. Who cares? As a 17th level rogue, 18th level character, we get Death Strike. When you hit a creature with your sneak attack on the first round of combat, the target must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. DC is 8 plus your Dexterity modifier and proficiency bonus, or the attack's damage is doubled. Now this is because we are an assassin rogue. Rogues do not get this normally. I wish they did, but they do not. And yeah, this is not critting. This is vulnerability. We are basically giving the enemy vulnerability to our sneak attack. This means all modifiers, all poison damage, everything we do is doubled on that first hit. Yeah, this is dumb. This gives us ridiculous amounts of damage and very, very broken. But yeah, as a 19th level character, we're actually taking a 2nd level fighter. Here we pick up Action Surge and Tactical Mind. Action Surge gives us an extra action, and with Tactical Mind, we can basically give ourselves a D10 20 skill check we make. But if we fail the skill check, even with the D10, we don't waste the use of second wind. It does take a use of second wind to use it, but overall, pretty cool. But yeah, getting Action Surge with Death Strike is probably one of the most broken things ever. If you don't know, as a rogue, the best way to use Action Surge is by doing your attacks, Action Surging, holding your action, and then using it. Because, again, Sneak Attack and Death Strike is not once per round, it is once per turn. Meaning, you can do it on your enemy's turn, you can do it on your ally's turn, you can do it whatever. So yeah, Action Surge, hold your action, then attack, is going to be something you're doing very, very often. And honestly, it really fits the whole rogue motif. Like your enemy is about to slice up your ally, but then you're able to just use Action Surge and then kill them on their own turn in Minecraft, of course, not in real life. I just overall think that's probably that really just fits the rogue, and especially an assassin rogue, killing someone on their own turn. Now, as a 20th level character, we'll be taking a 3rd level and fighter, picking up the Battle Master subclass. If I'm being honest here, I know this is crazy. I know. When it comes to maneuvers, pick your favorite. Honestly, just pick whatever maneuver does damage. If you don't know what Battle Masters do, which I hope you do, but whatever. Basically, as a Battle Master, you get special maneuvers. These maneuvers kind of act like cutting strike options, but don't cost you sneak attack, and actually can potentially add damage to your thing. All maneuvers are powered by superiority dice. You have 4 of these dice, which recharge on a short or long rest. They are D8. So basically, to use a maneuver, you must spend a superiority dice. And for most chances, when you use a maneuver, like something like trip attack, something like trip attack, for example, that's probably going to be the one you mainly take. You can add an extra superiority dice to your damage, which combined this with Death Strike is, of course, very, very broken. So yeah, that's why we took Battle Master. We also gain proficiency with 1 type of arson tool and 1 other skill proficiency of our choice from the fighter's list. More skill proficiencies, Yay. Now finally, our 20th level damage report. This is fun. Now, turn 1, we'll be doing 86 points of damage, no poisoner, or 95 with poisoner. Turn 2, we'll be doing 69 points of damage, or 78 with poisoner. And then if we're using Death Strike, we'll be doing 174 points of damage, with an average of 21.5 to hit, with permanent advantage. If you want to know what the action surge number for this is, simply double everything you see on screen. Yeah, that's it. Let me show you the classes chart now. This is the rogue's class chart. This is so here you can see how the rogue sneak attack is scaling. What are my final thoughts on the rogue? Let me do my outro first because I may get into a little yap in here. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, that's for it for today's video. See you later. But for the people that want to hear me yap a little, what are my thoughts on the rogue? It's solid. I feel like the people hating on the rogue really don't understand what it's meant to be or what it's meant to do. Um, I know some people don't like the new rogue, and you know what? That's fair. I can definitely tell that some people don't like it. I've heard some people are very angry at the new rogue, say, "Oh, they didn't fix it. They could have made it stronger. They could have done this and that." And yeah, Wizard of the Coast could definitely have made it stronger. They could have made it do more sneak attack damage. But I think in the end of it all, the position WotC left the rogue is a good one. You're not a damage dealer. You never have been. And I feel like people just need to get the idea of rogues being fighter levels of damage out of their heads. And when they finally do, they can realize how much fun they can have with the rogue. Again, that is my opinion. If you guys disagree with me, if you guys like the build, if you guys like anything I do on my channel, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And for real this time, OT19, signing out. Peace.